this is Isabel's cat costume. I want to sew as few seams as possible. Wow. So I have a pair of jeans that fit her really, really well. And I'm going to fold them with the crotch poking out. Like, fold them as flat as you possibly can. There we go. Thanks, Belle. Okay, and I'm actually going to put this side on a fold.
If she does take it. But I think overall, Lottie,
All right.
and Dave are a little bit trouble.
So the trick here is that we want to go with the biggest part first, and then when we open up, I will recut the front of it to be shorter, and the front crotch needs to be shorter as well. So, if you can see this, the back crotch actually comes over to here, so I'm going to push this out an extra ½ inch to account for that. And I'll show you how we fix that on the other side to have a back and a front. Again, make sure there is a hem on the bottom here. And I always like to add an extra like 2 inches just in case. I would so much rather have these be too long than too short. I'm going to add a ½ inch minimum on this side for my seam allowance. And I'm just using my bump out on my, like the little twisty part on my rotary cutter, and running that along the edge of it, and that is just going to be my seam allowance. So that way it's even the whole way. And remember, I want to come out to about here. And that's for their bums.
Yeah, that joke works better if you're over 45.
If you're under 45, just carry on with TikTok. Okay, bakers, on your mark.
And then for the back, it actually angles. So we're going to do that.
I think
And then it goes like
who knows
that.
what way it may go.
Alright,
I love ice cream too.
so we need to cut one more of those.
Nothing better than a bucket full of ice cream, is there? Apart from a bucket full of wine, but anyway.
From Leonette
Okay, so I'm going to trim off my scrap
the Arctic roll. The 80s was synonymous with ice cream cakes.
and grab
That meant 25
next little
miles of Arctic
portion.
roll was sold every month.
Ice cream cake was definitely a big deal in the 80s. I mean, you would have it for a birthday or a dinner party. It's a lovely celebratory thing to do.
It's going to look amazing, but when we
This
put the
is
knife
velvet,
in,
so
what
make
you'll see is
sure that we
right
cut
in
everything the
little
same
sunbaked
direction every
sausage
time. I don't want to
will
lay the
hold
next
their shape
one
and form.
going this way. You will be able to see when you sew it together. Velvet is made up of all these fibers that go in a specific direction. So if I were to cut the other leg, trying to save fabric the other direction, it would definitely show in my final product that I cut it wrong.
Many ice mixture cools depends on the flavors they use.
Obviously alcohol, brandy, high percentage, it doesn't freeze, so I had to be careful when I was putting it in not to be too generous.
This is honey and
Okay,
hazelnut.
we're
And when it
going
comes
to
to
cut out the
adding
exact
extra
same
liquid,
thing.
Mark is being more generous than most. So Madeline, trim is just as intricate, with a sponge resembling the stripy roof of a retro ice cream parlour.
Yeah, it's almost got like an ice cream quality to it with the stripes. What I'll do is spread this on here, which will paste that makes the stripes in each con. While Mark's sponge features delicate
Okay, so I
chocolate
have two of the same now. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll have both.
The front, I want to bring down to about here,
Tight. So
but
only a
everything
small
else fit her
amount,
really
just have
well.
a bit of decoration.
So I'm going to go like
These
that.
will be flavoured like a tiramisu.
I'm going to grab my other leg,
And almond ice creams alternating both inside and on top.
and
Tight ice cream on the top.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for.
That's where it's
they
hidden.
need to be mirror
Well,
images
first
of
all,
each
you've got to be
other.
able to pipe it, therefore it's got to be soft. Temperature in the centre will be warm, so we're expecting puddles by the time it comes to us.
He knows what he's doing.
Good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Decorating with ice cream may be a risk.
I love it.
Yes, the fluff will be on the outside as well.
Pushing the envelope even further.
So I am coating the entire thing in chocolate ice cream all the way around to make it look like a cassette tape.
Okay,
Inside Lottie's cassette tape was their flavours
There we
reminiscent
go.
of 80s birthday parties.
So now what I'm going to do, this is the right side. I am going to sew
Normally they're surrounded with something to pretend
the
like
leg
a sponge.
inseam
But you
on
decided
each
you
of
just gonna put
these.
the ice cream on the outside.
So down the inseam on both of
Be
them.
enough drink.
Yeah, free straws.
Alright, look.
Put your ice cream.
I have my 2 legs serged up the sides. So now I'm going to turn one of them
What a mess.
right side out. So we want right sides together. I'm going to stick this one inside.
It's judgment.
Of the
The
other
other-
one?
Yeah.
Ice cream cakes.
Mark, would you like to bring up your chest?
There we go. Keeping those seams lined up. And where those 2 seams are, I'm just going to put my finger on them because you probably can't see it with the black fabric. I'm going to put those together and I'm going to put a pin there so that those seams are perfectly lined up when I sew it. And then I'm just going to follow this out.
Consider it not an ice cream cake.
Let's see, there's the top of one side of the crotch curve, and then let's follow it out the other way, lining these up.
Wow, look at
I'm
that.
sure I'm probably out of screen right now, but there we go. Oh, hi, Appa. Alright, so it's completely lined up the whole way through the crotch, and we're going to sew that whole way. Appa.
Not quite set.
I'm using stretch fabric because it'll fit her better and I don't have to be as precise about the way that I cut it and everything. If you're using stretch fabric, make sure you either use a serger or a jersey needle. A regular needle is going to give you such a headache if you sew stretch fabric with a jersey needle, so make sure you're using the right tools.
Abba, it's a puppy.
This is now connected at the crotch, so I'm going to grab the inside leg and pull it back up. Oh, we've got some pants. So now what I'm going to do is have her try these on, and I'm going to take a piece of 1.5 to 2 inch, probably 1.5 inch, black elastic and measure around her waist how wide that needs to be. The waistband will just be a piece of elastic. So I will go ahead and measure her for that, and then we'll attach the top. Alright, so I've got the waistband on. I went ahead and hemmed the bottoms while I was down there. I just used a double needle to do a nice hem on this fabric. For the waistband, if you've never done an elastic waistband before, all I do is line up my 2 edges when I know what length I need, sew it good and shut so it's not going to fray, and then I put it right side on top of the right side and just sewed with a double needle the whole way around. So the inside, you can see kind of the edges poking up here, but the outside looks really nice. And they're really nice and comfy for her. So the pants are done. Now I need to make a shirt and a tail. So I'm gonna fold her shirt in half. And I am going to add an inseam. My rotary cutter is here. My knob that I replaced my blade with, I'm just going to use that along the edge of the fabric, and it'll give me a really nice even seam allowance the whole way up the shirt. Okay, now we get to and this time my guard is working as my seam work. Okay, there's the back of it. Now we're gonna cut the front. Alright, and we're just doing the same thing, but this time when I get to the front, I'm gonna fold that down and cut the neck to come down lower. So I have my front and back. Okay. of the shirt and cut up Hey Bell Bell, can you Bell Bell? Bell! I need you to let the dog in, please. Make sure you see allowance. Alright, and I'm just going to trace this onto another part. Those are the sleeves. I'm going to sew each sleeve. Actually, we're going to do this the super easy way. So first what I'm going to do is sew the front to the back at the shoulders. So right sides together. All we are doing is sewing across each of the shoulders, and that's it. Okay, so as you can see, the shoulders are now attached. So now the sleeves, I'm gonna open up, and right sides together, I'm going to sew along the tops of the sleeves, the shoulders. So attach each side to the shirt. Alright, okay, so the sleeves are now attached here. So all we do is attach the front to the back, which also folds the sleeves over onto themselves. And we're going to sew all the way from the end of the sleeve to the armpit down, all in one movement on both sides. And then you can go, you can go ahead and hem the cuffs and the bottom of the shirt. Hi.
Mama, this is soft. This is soft.
We're gonna make a hood. So there needs to be at least an inch in the front that can fold over to kind of put a nice hem on that. And then I'm gonna leave a cup, like probably an inch and a half in the back. And I am gonna curve it just a little in the back so it's not like poking out. Let's see. All right, Isabel, sit up. Not dragging the fabric with you. There we go. Okay, what we're gonna do, this part in the back with right sides together, sew it shut. Yep. And then the front side, you need, you need to fold it in about ½ an inch and hem it so it has a nice clean front, and then we'll attach it to the shirt. All we have to do is attach this little hood to the shirt. So, with right sides together, pin the center back together, and then wrap it all the way around to the front. And with any luck, they'll meet up exactly. They might even overlap a little, and all of those are great outcomes. And then just sew across that on the inside, and you will have an attached hood. All right, so let's go ahead and do the tail. And she wants her tail to be about this long, so I've just folded over some scrap. I'm gonna cut it, kind of just eyeballing. You can stuff this with stuffing if you want. You don't have to. I'm gonna sew with right sides together. With right sides together, I'll sew across the bottom and all the way to the top. Close the top, and I'll just safety pin it onto the pants so that I can attach them or take them off in case she just really likes these pants and wants to wear them, because they are pretty soft and awesome. Okay, just a second, Felicity, just a second. Okay, so here's the tail. Once the hoodie is on, you can make little ears and sew them on. Or we just went to the $1 store and bought cat ears, and she's gonna wear it on top of the hood. But that is totally up to you. She has asked me to stuff this so it's not flat, so we're actually just gonna use little scraps that we cut off because we are so resourceful, especially when it comes to costumes. And and here comes part of our cat now. And we're just gonna stuff it all in here. And I'm probably just gonna use my Turner
Isabel,
stick
good. We can do it.
to finish fluffing this all, stuffing all this in. I think she enjoys the costume so far though. Did you like it, Val? Appa seems to be enjoying it too.
I'm going to have
I
Paul.
think Appa thinks you're another Appa.
I am black. Ah! Why don't you say, come on, jump. Oh.